Today on Locked On Rockies, just like everyone predicted, well, we predicted, Elias Díaz wins the All-Star Game MVP and sends the National League onto the winner's podium for the first time in a long time.
You are Locked On Rockies, your daily Colorado Rockies podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Rock on Rockies fans, welcome into the Locked On Rockies podcast for today, the 12th day of July in the year 2023. I am your host of the Locked On Rockies podcast, Paul Holden, bringing you your daily Colorado Rockies talk right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, where you can find your team every day. And if your team is the Colorado Rockies, well, guess what? You're in the right spot, because that's what we do around here, is talk about the Colorado Rockies each and every day. We are on your favorite streaming services. We're also on Sirius XM alongside your play-by-play coverage of your Colorado Rockies. Just search Locked On Rockies or Colorado Rockies on Sirius XM. You'll be taken to where you need to go. And you can also find us on YouTube. That is the best place to go to help the show grow. That's the best place to go to interact with the show. Comments, live shows, all sorts of good stuff you can be a part of there on the Locked On Rockies YouTube channel. Today on the show, we got to recap it. We got to talk about it. What a day yesterday, honestly. I started my day and I was just going to go down to the area. I didn't have a ticket. And the whole time I was sitting there like, God dang it. I want to make sure I'm so bummed I don't have a ticket, but the prices were too much. And then I was talking to some people, and you get closer and closer to first pitch and closer to the player introductions, and the prices start dropping and dropping. Still expensive. Still certainly too much to pay, I think, for some people, and certainly still a part of a conversation to be had about the cost of events and things of that nature. But I do end up at the game, and then, what an experience on top of that. I mean, it is something. It's a unique experience when you are going to something like the All-Star Game, when you are going to something that is a celebration of all of the players, something that is the league on full display, the best players in the league on full display. I gotta admit, though, they gotta go back to just having everyone wear their own uniforms. I think it'd be better. I think it's more cool that way. But it was just so cool to see so many jerseys, a handful of Rockies fans out there. Saw a few of them. We'll dive more into that here. But if you have the chance, it's something to experience, just because it's a different level. I mean, to just think about the level of talent that's on there. And then when you think about it, yes, it's the All-Star Game. Yes, there's some silliness, and it is an exhibition game at the end of the day. This is the exhibition game that, I mean, they're still going out there throwing 100. They're still going out there and hitting bombs. The baseball's All-Star Game is the one where it is still a game that's close to the actual regular season product. And that's what makes it special, too, especially because when the stakes used to add it, but it just makes it a little bit more. It's not. The theatrics kind of feel a little bit more worth it. It's still a whole bunch of, a pomp and circumstance, but it was so cool to be around so many baseball fans in there, and just from people that have come from all over. And then on top of the other moments that the crowd got involved in, I mean, the Shohei chants have come to Seattle. That was awesome. Out front of the ballpark, there was a lot of people from trying to talk about the situation with the A's, wearing the Sell t-shirts and continuing to tell the story of what's going on with the Oakland A's and all that stuff. I mean, and on top of people coming from everywhere of all stretches, and family for some of these players. We had the chance to, I just gave a high five to basically the entire family there of Elias Díaz when I crossed paths with them last night. And it's just one of those moments, and it's one of those things that just reminds you of, for me, being why you love and care so much about this stuff, even in a season that's full of so many issues. And this is even on before Elias Díaz does what he does. I mean, it was just something about being there and being amongst all the fans, a packed place, and the best ball players in the game just brings a unique level of atmosphere that you're not always going to get and you're not always going to see. So I'm really glad that I ended up making the move to go, and I went by myself, and it was kind of, I mean, and it was nice. I mean, in a way, it was nice. It was just, I just was there to enjoy baseball, and in a season where sometimes and seasons where enjoying baseball is kind of a hassle and kind of a chore sometimes when you care as much about the team, a struggling team like we do. But it just was one of those nights that just reminds me why I love baseball. It's the game itself, it's the atmosphere of the ballpark, it's the food, it's the beer, it's the all-star game mentality, it's the home run derby. I mean, we saw flashy plays in the outfield. The drone camera work that they were doing was cool. I talked to random people. It was so easy to just go up and talk to people and give high fives and just kind of hang out. I mean, it just reminds me of why I really enjoy the pageantry of sports, and I see the importance of it. As I was talking to one of my coworkers about it too. It's these moments matter so much, and I think for a lot of people, and this is just me, someone who I think has always never truly lost the little my I consider myself to be childish in some ways. I mean, I have I still like to be odd and enjoy things and kind of stuff that is kind of superfluous in the world. And last night it was just it was just a moment that let me sit back there and like, this is really cool. It was really cool that I had the opportunity to go. It was really cool that I kind of, we just, I just kind of made it happen. And then it was cool because Elias freaking Diaz, man. I mean, this is the guy deserved it from his performance on the field, but has had such a journey and one of those careers that can go under the radar so often, and about how much sacrifice and work and everything it took for him to get to the majors. And then things don't work out with the Pirates. He signs on with the Rockies, and then he becomes the best baseball version of himself in the 2023 season, capped off by making Colorado Rockies history. It was insane. On top of me firing out a tweet just out of nowhere, just because reminding people, because I was seeing him walking around, and I saw him on deck, and it's just, here he comes, tight ball game, and Elias Diaz has done this for the Rockies this year, and that it all pays off. You know what I mean? For Elias Diaz, as he continues to navigate, and the players go through the things, and championships are obviously there, but at that moment, on a field that had Julio Rodriguez and Shohei Ohtani, Nolan Arenado, Pete Alonso, the list, Juan Soto, and the list goes on and on and on and on. Elias Diaz of the Colorado Rockies, the catcher for the Colorado Rockies, the first catcher to ever make it for the Colorado Rockies, hits a comeback, game-winning, late-game pinch hit home run. That's why you love baseball. That's why we love Rockies baseball. That's why the All-Star game is still so cool, is because those moments are real. That's a real at-bat. That was a real thing. He had to hang in that 2-2 count. And it does, and of course, people, we were cheering and hooting and hollering. Some people were jeering about the Rockies, and at that point, who cares? It doesn't matter. When baseball's biggest stars were on display, Elias Diaz shined brighter than all of them. Julio Rodriguez had his moment to come up. He got to the walk. There was the opportunity there, but nobody in the All-Star game, the game of the best players in Major League Baseball, no player had a bigger at-bat in that game than Elias Diaz. That's what hard work and dedication and determination gets you, and it pays off there. unbelievable moment. We got to talk more about it here, and got to talk a little bit more about the history that comes alongside this and comes alongside Elias Díaz making things happen. We'll do that coming up here in segment number 2. Before we do that, though, folks, you got to make sure that you are checking out Bird Dogs. I got to tell you, I love these things. I'm a shorts guy. I wear shorts 90% of my life, and Bird Dogs are perfect because they look great. They stretch for me. I got the big thighs. I'm just your classic stocky dude. And Bird Dogs are perfect for a guy like me because they look great and they are comfortable, and they're perfect for something like going to the ballpark. For example, when you go, they got the zipper pockets. They got you covered there. They got the different types of pockets. And like I said, super comfortable. On top of that, they also have sweat wicking fabric. And of course, the inliner there for extra comfort as well. Bird Dogs got you covered. And you've seen me have the tumbler that you can get by checking out birddogs.com/LockedOnMLB, or enter the promo code LockedOnMLB for that tumbler when you order your next favorite pair of shorts from Bird Dogs. That's birddogs.com/LockedOnMLB or promo code LockedOnMLB for a free Yeti style tumbler. You won't want to take your Bird Dogs off. We promise you. This is the Locked On Rockies podcast. We are free and streaming on your favorite streaming service and on the Locked On Rockies YouTube channel, where you can be part of the show when we go live. You can drop down your comments on Elias Díaz being awesome in the comment section below. I just wanted to continue the conversation of why this is such a cool moment, because no one really outside of of the team and the organization knows how much that this meant. And it was great. I watched SportsCenter last night. A little cameo, by the way, if you were watching SportsCenter, that "Let's Go Rockies" chant I was part of. But it's a guy that just, you can tell that he doesn't take the game for granted. He doesn't take where he's at for granted. There is no approach that he takes to any aspect of the game that he takes for granted. He cares deeply about the game, even in the midst of a season that is lost for the Rockies, even amidst times of turmoil in his career. Since he has been on the Rockies, he has been a beloved teammate, and people were ecstatic for him yesterday. The stories continue, or you've seen it go on this year, of Elias Díaz is a prime teammate. And man, it's just a story. It's just another reminder of how many great baseball players, good baseball players, whatever categorical term you need to put for your baseball players on there, exist, but maybe often don't go recognized because they don't have a moment like this. Everything that Elias Díaz has done to lead up to that moment paid off. His family there cheering him on, supporting him, even while the Rockies are dealing with everything. He's made it to the major leagues. He signed a multi-year deal. He's an all-star, and now he's an all-star MVP. That's just cool, man. It's really awesome when you need wins like this. Not only for it's a huge win for him and for the team and for everyone to get a nice little boost. But man, for your fandom as well, this is a cool moment. This is something at least that gives you a little bump of encouragement and it reminds you that there is talent on this team that can come up, that can happen in the big moments. I mean, so often the Rockies get overshadowed and that's from their own creation, but not last night. The Rockies sent up their seasoned vet guy who earned his right to be there. Maybe didn't get voted in, but had the impact on the game. And it was just really awesome. That will go down as one of my favorite Rockies moments to see in person. Absolutely. It was just, you needed that. I mean, legit, I really, truly feel like I needed to see that last night, just because, I don't know, I feel like I have been struggling as a Rockies fan the past couple weeks, especially. I feel like I've been struggling on the show personally. I don't feel like we've necessarily, or I've necessarily been breaking things down and diving deep enough into the things and giving coverage the way other people give coverage on not only the network, but just, following the Rockies. Because it was just like, I've just been so frustrated and kind of confused with my Rocky fandom this year, and the time and energy, passion, commitment mixed with working as doing the show. I mean, because of course I gotta watch, I gotta care, I gotta focus, and I gotta make sure I'm bringing a great pod. But it has also been, there's been not a lot of times in my Rockies fandom where it's just like, watching this team is more of a chore to me. Sometimes it's felt like this year. And it rarely feels like that. It has felt like that in the past, but there's just been, I feel like lately in the past couple of weeks, I just feel like I've let it get to me a little bit more. But then moments like last night happen. Frog in the throat. Hold on. And it just kind of rejuvenates how I feel. And it just, it just makes me want the Rockies back in that spotlight, back in that limelight, back in the big moments again, because that's what was so great about it. It was a big moment on the big stage, and the Rockies came through. The Rocky came through. It might be, I know it's the All-Star game, but instead of it going the other way, instead of it being a 3-pitch strikeout, instead of it being a rollover, Elias Díaz has a solid at bat and hits a home run. and just like everyone expected. I mean, it just, again, look at the rosters of those teams. Look at the people that we're talking about are on the field in these moments. But instead, it was Elias Díaz again. And that's what I keep going back to. Man, it was just it was an experience, and it was one that kind of helped change my perception a little bit more about this season, about the team. And I mean, it doesn't change everything, obviously. It changes very little in the grand scheme of things, but it was the breath of fresh air and good Rockies news and good Rockies moments, or good Rockies moment that fans needed, because there's been so few of them in this season, and the second half of the season looks just as murky and unclear. But in one of the biggest moments in baseball in 2023, Elias Díaz of the Colorado Rockies stepped up and made his mark on history. I mean, oh man, it just doesn't get much cooler than that. I mean, World Series, yes, but like for where we're at right now, and for moments for Elias Díaz in his life, it ain't gonna get much cooler than that. It ain't gonna get much cooler than flipping the script. I mean, we got to go into some of the numbers. Let's save that for segment number 3. We didn't get to that there. I kind of went more on my philosophy, my soapbox ramblings there. Let's take a look at some of the actual data and things that occurred due to Elias Díaz doing what he did last night, coming up here in segment number 3. But hey, maybe you're thinking about taking better care of yourself. Maybe you're thinking about trying therapy. Maybe you're just thinking about talking to someone to navigate a difficult part in your life, or handle some big situations, some big deals, and big moves, maybe. Well, BetterHelp is designed to help you there. And when you're faced with tough choices, the path forward isn't always clear. And those at BetterHelp are there to help. And it's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Yeah, so you can work. So it's not only are you taking the time for yourself, you can do it at the right time for yourself, so you can really do what you need to do to start helping yourself out, which is super important. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with the licensed therapist and switch therapist anytime for no additional charge. Let therapy be your map with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/LockedOnMLB today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/LockedOnMLB. BetterHelp.com/LockedOnMLB. This is the Locked On Rockies podcast. We're free and streaming on your favorite streaming services. We're also sometimes live. couple of weird scheduling things this week, so we'll get back to the live shows here soon. But sometimes things can be a little with the All-Star game and just where I've been at. I've just been the recordings helped, but hey, if you're live, you can see when we're live by subscribing to Locked On Rockies on YouTube. And when you subscribe to Locked On Rockies on YouTube, you'll see the videos when they're posted. You'll get notified. You can be part of the show and let us know what you're thinking about the Rockies. You can also find us on your favorite streaming services. You can also find us on Sirius XM and the Sirius XM app. Shout outs to all of our everyday listeners out there. And thank you for making us your first listen of the day. Really, really do appreciate it, folks. Great group of Rockies fans tuning in. It's been hey, season's been tough, but we've been having some fun here on the pod this year. And let's go over some of the actual things that Elias Díaz did yesterday here for the first time. He tied with being the I believe he is one of the, I think there's a 4-way tie for oldest players to hit a home run in the Baseball Hall of Fame. He is going to go have his jersey. The jersey is on its way to Cooperstown. Elias Díaz joins a list of only 4 other Rockies to hit a home run: Charlie Blackmon, Trevor Story, Matt Holliday, and Todd Helton. Let's see, what else do we got going on here? And let's just a quick a quote here from the manager of the Phillies here, who is the manager for the NL team. This is one of the finest people you'll ever meet, a complete team player that'll do anything you want. If he doesn't play, that's fine. If he does play, that would be great. He is very much a team guy. He is someone that is just, man, it's just, let's see. Let's get some more of these. Let's get some more of these stats here. I had him. Let's see. Oh, of course, like we mentioned, first Rockies catcher to be mentioned there. First Rockies MVP ever. On top of that, and it's there's just so much. And it was the first win. This was the stat I was looking for and waiting for too. It was the first win for the National League since 2012. Elias Díaz snapped a near decade-long losing streak for the National League with a big-time home run. I mean, all of that just builds up. And folks, man, the smile never left his face. He was beaming the whole time. He was smiling, running, going on the field. Again, it was another moment. There's a group of all-stars standing in the dugout, National League all-stars, and the media isn't talking to them. They're talking to Elias Díaz, the MVP. That's who's being talked to. That's who they're focusing on. That's the guy with the silver bat. What a night. What a moment for Elias Díaz. It was just so cool. I mean, it was just absolutely nuts. Patrick Saunders tweets out, Ryan McMahon said this, absolutely electric. I know myself and a bunch of my teammates were all screaming at the TV in excitement. So cool to see that homer. He's going to keep the bat next to his bed. Yeah, there's a great a gif there, great moment too of Orlando Arcia shielding Elias Díaz's eyes there too. It's, gosh, man, it's the baseball homer in me, but the baseball all-star game is an actual enjoyable product that serves the league well. And I actually think it was a moment last night that kind of shows that I do think baseball is going in the right direction. Still not perfect, but the changes that have been made have helped baseball. But folks, what a night for Elias Díaz. What a night for. I really appreciate everyone for retweeting and liking the tweet. We got a bunch of people. It's the biggest tweet I've ever tweeted in my life. When I called the Elias Díaz, I just said, no one knows this, but Elias Díaz is going to win this for the NL. 40 minutes later, Elias Díaz hits the home run. And man, I haven't stopped smiling either, man. Just been a really, really fun day, and a fun day yesterday. It was a really fun night last night, and it was really fun to talk to you all about it today on the Locked On Rockies podcast. That's going to do it for today's episode of Locked On Rockies. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for making us your first listen of the day. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for subscribing. We're so close to 500 YouTube subscribers, folks. That would be awesome if we could hit that here sooner rather than later. But hey, even if you just take a couple of minutes out of your day to listen to us here, really, really do appreciate it. And thank you for making us your first listen of the day. Go make Locked On Broncos, Locked On Avalanche, Locked On Nuggets, and Locked On Buffs your second listen of the day if you are looking for more Colorado sports coverage. Folks, until next time, this is Paul Holden saying so long from the Locked On Rockies podcast.